Hi everyone, wanted to share an article today from the National Post. It speaks to a population trap. It defines a population trap according to the Oxford Dictionary as a population that is growing so fast that all available resources and savings are needed to maintain the existing capital-labor ratio, so making any increase in living standards impossible. We wonder why our younger generation is actually depressed. They are going to put the effort in, do the work, and it is very unlikely that they are actually going to reap the rewards or improve their lot as a result. So some of the things here that really stood out to me, because we are examining the merits of an Alberta pension plan, and as I've discussed many times, the importance and the strength of the Canadian economy that is necessary in order to sustain the Canada Pension Plan. Some of the assumptions that have been made around the economy by the chief actuary with respect to Canada's economy. News like this is actually not good for the Canada Pension Plan. In fact, it only supports the need and the merits for an Alberta pension plan and for putting some distance between Alberta and the federal centralized government. The fact that both parties, whether it be the Conservative Party of Canada or the Liberal Party, actually continue to promote mass immigration. This is the problem. We have a population that is growing so fast, it cannot actually keep up with infrastructure, cannot keep up, education cannot keep up, schools cannot keep up, roads cannot keep up. And we have generally a hostile environment from our federal government, which is only going to continue to compound this problem, because one of the few ways out of it is actually to increase production. And this is the ugly side of mass immigration. And we are putting our infrastructure, putting our future generations at risk, and lowering our own standard of living. One of the statements that I have made most recently in some of my presentations is, as Albertans, we should not be partaking in our own demise. And arguably, Canada, as Canadians, we should not be participating in our own demise. So the number of things that we can actually do to improve the situation, like I said, is one, increase productivity or reduce the population, or preferably both. Increasing productivity has the benefit of lifting, like when the tide comes in, it lifts all boats. So I would highly recommend that would be the approach that the Liberal government would currently take as the federal government in power. But unfortunately, as we see again and again and again, Steven Guilbeault just made another announcement yesterday discouraging municipalities from improving and adding to infrastructure. So he does not believe that municipalities should be building more roads, for example. So not only do we have, Bill C-69, that was everybody sort of taglined as the build no more pipelines. Well, Danielle Smith and I had mentioned it many times before that it is truly the build nothing, nowhere, anywhere, anytime bill. And now we are seeing that reflected in Guilbeault's most recent announcement with respect to not building any more roads, and that the federal government will not be providing any more funding for municipalities to expand infrastructure in that way. So here we have again a federal government that's not now only hostile to Alberta and our oil and gas and natural resource development, but is actually not only hostile to Alberta, but hostile to all of Canada and promoting the stagnation of the economy. And EV sales obviously are diminishing, so I guess he figures that he needs to attack this from a different perspective. The Canadian economy from the OECD, which is the Organization of Economic Coordination and Development, all the OECD nations, Canada is actually ranking at the bottom. It is not looking to improve the economic outlook here for Canada anytime soon. And one of the interesting things for me is trends. I always like to look at trends. Is this a one-of? Is this just how something starts? Is this something that can be changed? But the momentum here, this is 7 years now that has been trending this way, and even the OECD does not see any foreseeable outlook that has Canada improving its GDP and economic strength and growth opportunities in the near future. So we have housing. Let's take a look at that, because the article did reference the fact that it would need an extra 700,000 housing starts in order to meet the current demand. That is absolutely impossible. It is no different than saying EVs, we want to remove all gas-powered vehicles and replace them with all EVs by 2035. Again, it's an impossible task. We don't even have the resources, the ability, let alone the manpower to do it. It's just the natural resources are not even, the infrastructure is not there to do it. So the repercussions of this we're seeing all around the country. I mean, Edmonton has had to remove encampments. We're seeing them pop up all over BC. We just have more people than we have homes, to the tune of like 1.2 million people that came in last year. And, we would have to build 700,000 homes per year, new homes, just to keep up with what we already have. And that's just not achievable. So for me, I look at this and understanding the Canada Pension Plan, so many people don't understand the risks associated with the Canada Pension Plan because they don't understand, things like gross domestic product. They don't understand the impacts of government policies and these ideologies and what they have, because they've been rooted so deeply into not only the politics, but pretty much every aspect of Canadian life, including, the economic, the health, education system. And without knowing what questions to ask, it makes it very challenging to be able to assess whether or not an Alberta pension plan is a good idea or a bad idea. So earlier, I did do an interview with Fergus Hodgson. And interestingly enough, Fergus is a Canadian, but living in the United States. And he is got some amazing credentials, a master's in finance, a BA in political science, as well as a BA in economics. He has a Series 65. He is got his CFA at level 1, as well as chartered investment for alternative investments level 1. So he's got a lot of background experience, expertise as it relates to pensions. And one of the things both him and I will agree on is that any government pension plan is probably not the best option, but in this particular case for Albertans, we really don't have a choice. The best we can do is just withdraw ourselves from the Canada Pension Plan and establish something that is similar, but hopefully much better, and we can eliminate some of the follies and the pitfalls that the Canada Pension Fund currently finds itself in. That interview will be coming out here later in the week, most likely tomorrow, so I encourage you all to watch that. And from there, we will just watch and see as things unfold. Every day there is more news that comes out that just reaffirms the need for Alberta to put further and greater distance between itself and the federal government in Ottawa. Cheers.